comment about. First of all, on the Wyndham Way document, I don't quite know why they're using Wyndham Way. We're not daft in Portishead. We do know they're talking about Old Mill Road, but it's a nice little slant to actually divert attention. It says Portishead Town Council is expected to agree to work with North Somerset Council and Aberdeen Standard Investments. I'd like to know who expects that. It's a very strange term to use. And it then later says that the study area also includes Old Mill Road. Many people remember this area was considered for redevelopment as part of earlier plans. Having listened to local feedback, those plans will be withdrawn. However, withdrawal means nothing to people in Portishead, purely because all it means is you'll then submit the plans, and when I say you, I mean Standard Life Investment and perhaps North Somerset Council, in a different way. So it does concern me, and I cannot forget and keep out of my head the comment of the GL Hearn representative from before, who wanted to have retail and 7 stories high of residential apartments. So turning now to the point that I really want to make is the resolution by Portishead Town Council in June 2018. Now that was 11 months before the May 2019 election, and the resolution said, Portishead Town Council believes that further significant residential development in the town will be damaging to the community unless there is a significant improvement to our infrastructure. Such improvement should include the reopening of the passenger railway service and the resilience of the road network to junction 19 M5, as well as education and medical facilities. The Town Council will continue to support appropriate development, but inappropriate conversions of retail and employment land to residential purposes and changes of use of empty office blocks to housing will be strongly opposed. We call upon the Planning Authority to use all its powers to protect such planning designations, including making Article 4 directives and safeguard its employment land. So taking that resolution on board, I'm not aware that post-2019 election, with the new administration on board, that resolution was ever revoked or changed. So as far as I'm concerned as a resident, it still stands. So until a new resolution is put forward, I'm really surprised that Portishead Town Council is even considering working with North Somerset Council and Standard Life Investments, or Aberdeen Standard as they like to call themselves now, as partners. And what does partners actually mean? You say that Portishead Town Council has been invited to agree to work with North Somerset Council and Aberdeen Standard as partners. So it's really concerning that we don't know the definition of that word. No resident expects their town council to be a partner on a tripartite development scheme, which is how I think that we're all going to look at this. So how are we going to protect ourselves from any prejudicial interests that might occur if Portishead Town Council do become partners? So I think we need some sort of evidence as to what that term means for our town. And then there's other wording which I do want to raise tonight before you make your decision, because Paul Gardner, Chair of Portishead Town Council, has said that we welcome the decision to withdraw Old Mill Business Park, yes, we all know that, and start a fresh conversation. He then says the following, and I dislike these comments because it's opening up the scope and it worries me. So the first one is, he says, Old Mill Road, and I quote, ticks all the boxes for development, unquote. Well, we all know it's not just going to be retail. It's the residential part too. And as Lynn Morrissey has already pointed out, it seems to be slightly sort of scuffed over on the slides we just looked at. And two, how exactly does Councillor Gardner feel that Portishead Town Council can, I quote, influence proposals? Now, as a district councillor, he may well have been able to. I'm not convinced that Portishead Town Council has the power and the experience to manage development issues like this, particularly up against the big boys of Standard Life. 3, Councillor Gardner's view to extend the study to where the railway station is planned, and North Somerset Council Alexis Hearn has just said exactly the same. Does that mean really that you don't think any more than we do that the railway is ever going to come back, and you will then build on that land instead and overcrowd our town and our facilities? And if the railway had any remote chance of coming back, which I don't think it will do, and you were going to extend into that area as well, it's surely going to be very overcrowded. So that's not been explained. You know, I don't really see where you're going to go from there. You've got the village quarter down that area as well. It's already an overcrowded and congested area. So I'm even amazed that you're actually thinking of that as a survey area. And then finally, Councillor Gardner says, we may end up, after this process, with an output from the process we do not like. Well, what then? It will be a foregone conclusion. We will have no experienced councillors to deal with the matter, and it leaves the residents in really quite a dark spot. And let's not forget, last time, I know Alex Hearn was saying that there was no public consultation. Well, that's not strictly true. I can remember back in 2013 a group coming along to the council meeting to discuss what was going to happen in Old Mill Road, what they had planned, long before GL Hearn came to do the same. We then did have consultations, just like we're having now, albeit not virtually, about what plans they wanted to put in place. So it did happen. Let's not think of this as a completely fresh, scheme where, you're consulting with us because it didn't happen before. No, it did happen before, but we were still railroaded into trying to accept that area for development. So taking you back to that resolution now that Portishead Town Council did unanimously vote for in 2018, until that's revoked, I'd be very concerned if Portishead Town Council now agrees to work as partners with North Somerset Council and Standard Life Investments, or Aberdeen Investments. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. Okay.
I would like answers to those questions a bit later on.
Okay, coming back to that. So people on the phone, is there anyone on the phone who'd like to comment?